Hey everyone, welcome to the Wilson Homestead. So I'm here in my kitchen this evening and my husband and my daughter, they're up messing with the horses. I think they're gonna see how a saddle fits and maybe go for a little ride or something like that. So I thought I would bring you along with me for my evening chores. I don't do the horse thing. I had a bad experience with a horse and now I'm terrified of them, so the horses are their domain. I stay out of it. But anyway, since it's so hot out right now, I mean, we've been getting 90s like for a couple weeks now. So I've been trying to feed my hummingbirds, and you know that if you put food out for them, like when it gets hot like this, you're gonna have to change it out every other day at least, because it's gonna get kind of yucky inside the feeder and like black stuff will start to grow in there. So tonight I'm changing my hummingbird food, so I'm about to mix up some stuff right here. I only have 3 hummingbirds that come to my property, so I only do a really small amount, and usually they don't even go through that every other day. But I just do 1 cup of water and 1/4 of a cup of sugar. And I just mix this together. I don't boil it or anything. I just feel like if I'm cleaning that feeder out every other day, there's no point for me to boil this stuff. Just as long as the sugar dissolves, it's fine. But I have a hummingbird feeder out on my front porch because I love to watch them. They're like really violent little creatures. Like, you wouldn't think that something that size would have so much anger, but they fight all the time. They're like the chihuahuas of the bird world. And I think that is pretty much dissolved. I'm gonna go ahead and clean my feeder out and give it a good wash, and then I'll probably stir this around a couple more times, but it's pretty much dissolved now. Give it one last stir here. And I mix it in one of these measuring cups with a spout on it, so it's just like so much easier to pour in here. Oopsie. All right, let's go feed the birds. Alright, now that chore's out of the way, and now I'm going to head down to the garden with my little colander. I'm not getting huge harvest yet, but it's starting to get enough to where I need to take a little basket down with me every time I go down there. So let's go down there and see what awaits us. I have majorly got to come in here and do some weeding. Tomorrow I'm going to have a garden work day where I just take care of my tomatoes, get the dead stuff cut off of them, go through and weed some beds. But this bed here is the one I was talking about on my last episode that I said I'm having some issues. I don't know what's wrong, but I do have a nice surprise. I used homemade compost in this bed, and I now have a bunch of climbing petunias in here that I'm going to leave in here since the beans decided not to do anything. So it's just funny how things work out. I didn't plant any of these this year, and I kind of felt sorry for it, but I guess I didn't have to. Check out these beans. These are the Blue Lake bush beans that I put in this spot where I harvested all of the garlic out of. And I think it's been about 8 or 9 days since I planted these. And they are going to town. Carrot beds are looking pretty good. I feel like they probably need thinned out one more time. Look at this dill. This is one of my favorite garden smells ever. Oh, it's just intoxicating. Starting to form little heads right here. And check this out. I am getting zucchini. This one will be ready probably tomorrow. That'll be my first zucchini of the year. But I have several sitting on. This one apparently didn't take. You can see how it's yellowing at the end. That means it didn't get pollinated, so that one's just garbage. But I've got several over here. And just in time for the dill. Look at this. I'm starting to get some tiny cucumbers. It'll just be a couple days till I can go through here and pick some cucumbers. Now there's a lot of really tiny ones, but these first ones I'll just eat fresh until I have enough going on here that I can do some pickling. But these are delicious. The cucumbers I just showed you up there in the row were National Pickling cucumbers. And these plants down here are Bait Alpha. They're one of the smooth-skinned cucumbers. I've never tried this variety before, but I always grow Muncher, and they're kind of this type, and I really like them. But check out this critter. Look at this. He was alive and well inside of his shell yesterday when I was down here. But now you can see this is just his exoskeleton. He popped out of there and he's now a full-grown cicada. I'm just going to leave him there for a decoration. Yay, bravo little guy for shedding your little skin there. These are Brad's Atomic Grape tomatoes, and I'm pretty sure, like, this one's starting to get soft. I mean, is it ripe? I don't know. I've never grown these before. It feels pretty soft, so I'm going to go ahead and pick it. You can see it's got a little bit of red coloring right there. I really hope these are good. It's beautiful. These are jade bush beans, and they are just now starting to produce. I'm so excited about this because we went clear through our bush beans from last year that I had canned. So this is like just in time. Ground cherries. These are the pineapple variety. Oh, there's one. You wait until they fall on the ground, and that means they're ripe. Yum! This little section here are my Muncher cucumbers. They're doing pretty good. They're a little thick. Maybe I should have planted them a little bit farther apart, but I'm just going to go with it at this point. You can see I've got fruit on these too. But I did do a few hybrid plants in here. They're called Pickle Barrel Hybrid. And they're doing really good. I mean, you can see right here, I've got one ready to pick. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one. Here's a couple more of the Pickle Barrel Hybrid. I'll probably be able to pick these tomorrow. I like them when they're still really small. I don't like cucumbers that get really big. They just get seedy and gross to me after they get big. So whatever I'm doing with them, fresh eating, pickling, whatever, I like to pick them when they are still small. And the rest of this row is National Pickling cucumbers. Again, like I said, I do a lot of dill pickles, so I have to have a lot of these plants. And these are producing too. This is about the biggest one on this plant compared to the hybrid. I might be switching to hybrids, guys. I don't know. That was pretty fast. Have a few banana peppers here. They're the first peppers to really get going. I'm going to try to do this without hurting the plant. I should have brought some clippers down here, but I didn't. Come on, please don't hurt the plant. There we go. I pulled, I think it was about 8 of these yesterday. So I'm going to get a few more here, and that'll be good for the day. That one's kind of wedged in there. I can't get it out. Come on, come out of there. Okay. I'm going to pull this one. Okay, and I think I'm going to let the rest of them grow some more. Okay, I think that's about all the damage that I can do tonight. There are quite a few more beans out here that I need to get, but I think that I'm going to work on them tomorrow. But I just wanted to bring you along with me this evening, and I will pick this video back up tomorrow. I thought that I was coming out here just to pick a few green beans. This bed is jade bush beans, and this is the only bed that I've picked so far. And I got over a gallon of beans out of it. Crazy. Now, I'm going to work on this bed behind the tomatoes. These are Blue Lakes, so let's see what we get out of that. That was a lot more than what I expected to get. I would say I have almost 3 gallons there. So tomorrow is definitely going to be a canning day. I still have to go through these other beds that are a weedy mess, but these are the Royal Burgundy bush beans, and I think there's a good many of them in there too, so that's going to have to wait until tomorrow though, because I am running out of daylight. See how pretty those are? Love it. Before I go in, I'm going to have to check for cucumbers and zucchini. That's something that I'm going to have to start checking every day. So let's see what we have here. 3 Muncher cucumbers. 2 National Pickling cucumbers. Now I need to go check my other cucumber bed. Alright, out of the other bed I got 2 Bait Alpha and 1 National Pickling. And you can see that these Munchers and Bait Alphas look very similar. Alright, it's the next day. I'm going to try to finish going through these beans and picking them. I'm going to start with this bed. This is half Tenderette and half Blue Lake. I just got a handful out of that bed, which is pretty much what I was expecting because these beans were planted a couple weeks after the rest of them. So let's move on to the next bed. This bed has Royal Burgundy bush beans, I think some Tenderette up at that end, which were planted late, so I won't get anything off of them. And the runner beans, or the climbing beans, aren't really producing yet, so we'll just be picking the Royal Burgundy out of this bed. Okay, so that bed was somewhat better. It was still a little bit behind the ones that I harvested yesterday, the Jade and the Blue Lake that I harvested yesterday. But there was a lot of little beans sitting on, so I have high hopes for these Royal Burgundy bush beans, and they're actually a really good size. I grew a variety of purple bean last year. It was called Velour bush bean, and the beans stayed really small, but these actually get to a nice size. Plus, I picked 3 Monte Gusto pole beans. Monte Gusto, however you say it. Anyway, I picked 3 of those, and they're a yellow potted bean. I went ahead and took all of the weeds out of this bed while I was picking beans. So it looks a whole lot better than it did whenever I started. But I can't weed the rest of the beds that I'm picking tonight because I just don't have time. I'm running out of daylight. Today has been a crazy, awful day. Like, I swear, homestead life is great sometimes, and sometimes it is just awful. We had one of our horses that had to be put down today, so it's kind of nice to get down here in the garden and forget about that for a little bit. I mean, you don't forget about it, but it makes you feel a little bit better to be down here in the garden harvesting some stuff. Now this awful, weedy, flowery, beautiful mess here is the home of my golden butter wax beans. And I don't have very high hopes for this bed because this is the bed that I was having problems with either blight or the soil or something is wrong in this bed, so I'm not expecting to get a whole lot of harvest out of this bed, especially, I mean, just look at all these weeds. This is ridiculous. Yep, disaster just like I expected. I mean, not a total loss, but if I would have weeded this bed and taken care of it, even though it had a few problems, it would have probably produced more. So I promise tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to get out here and I'm going to get these weeds out of here. There probably will be nothing left except for flowers, but hey, we're going to give it a go. Alright, last bed is a weedy mess, just like the first one. And this is half Royal Burgundy and half Tenderette, I think. Alright, that was it out of that row. So, that goes to show you. Weed your stupid beans. Okay, so I picked a few more things. I got a few more cucumbers and a couple peppers, banana peppers, and a few ground cherries, and now I'm going to harvest this zucchini. It's a pretty good one. I think I'm going to make those zucchini pizza bites tonight for dinner, so this will be in my belly here in a little bit. Alright, I'm running out of daylight, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time here on the Wilson Homestead. Bye, guys.